Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey. Saturday morning, we decided to venture out from where we live in Newburgh, Indiana, and drive over to Henderson, which is very, very close by. We were going to go ahead and do some bourbon hunting. We went over to a store called Beverage Barn, which is a place that we really enjoy going into. And as I'm checking out a couple different bottles and looking at things here and there, my wife grabs this bottle off the shelf and I come walking up to her and I'm like, what is that?
And I'm like, I don't know, but I love the title and the name and the label and I have to have it. And typically when I buy a bottle based on a title or the label, I get burned. But this one has kind of an interesting backstory, so let me share that with you. It is called Tater Bait Hot Brown Edition Single Barrel Bourbon Whiskey. They were really started in the late 19th century along the Ohio River. August Krogman was the first one that started this, and it was like Perry County, Indiana. If you're from Indiana, you know where that is. He worked in the coal mines and saved up $5,000 to be a partner in Indiana's second distillery. So this has got some historic background. In 2019, Mad Beverages trademarked the brand and updated the label. So finally in 2020, this was released, and they're out of now Tell City, Indiana. They do a collection of single barrels only. So they're not distilling anything. They are branding single barrels. And what they've done is they've worked with MGP to create 9 single barrels to represent each one of MGP's mash bills. Ironically, this gave me a flashback when I was looking at the bottles that back in 2022, when we first joined the Evansville Bourbon Society, they had a blind tasting at our first meeting. And we were supposed to guess all these things, and it was really difficult. And no one in the room was really guessing anything. When they started revealing the names of these bottles, it was things like Dusty Hunters and all kinds of crazy things like that. But it ended up, we had tasted 5 of these offerings from this group, Krogman's, and what they're doing. So this one must be a special single barrel. Tater Bait is something they do regularly. This is a special one. And I should say too that Tater Bait has a mash bill of 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% barley. So it's extremely high rye bourbon. But it does have a pretty good balance is what they tell us. So as Wayne said, we purchased this in Beverage Barn in Henderson, Kentucky for $56.91. It's a 3-year-old and it has a proof of 110. So I'm curious and excited all at the same time.
Well, it gives me hope that someday I may find my Swanson frozen dinner from the 70s type flavor profile, the Salisbury steak. That's what I've dreamt about, that or an avocado. Anyway, so we're going to find out what this is like.
Because now they put in my head a hot brown. I don't know if you all have ever had a hot brown made famous at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, but darn, if it has any notes of hot brown, I'm going to be pretty excited.
Well, let's see.
Golden.
Light amber.
Light amber. Not seeing legs yet, but it might form in a moment.
I'm seeing a little bit of legs on it.
I had to get on the nose. I'm looking for that hot brown. So.
Well, I'm getting corn and I'm getting rye. I'm getting the ryegrass.
So, of course, if you know what hot brown is, I'm looking for some turkey and some tomato and some cheese. Bacon.
Well, quash my dreams because that means I'll never find my Swanson.
But it has a really nice nose. There's some sweetness on it, some caramel notes. The spices are coming through.
I'm getting ginger. Is it ginger or a nutmeg? Fairly complex. I was not really expecting this. I had, well, honestly, no expectation with this. I was expecting a sandwich in a way. Right now I haven't gotten a sandwich, but let's see what the taste is like. Cheers.
That is pretty yummy. And look at those legs on your glass. It is really clinging.
Ryegrass.
Yeah, you can tell it's got a high part of mash. High part of the mash is rye. But there's still this sweetness coming through.
This is funny. I was not expecting this to be good. I was really expecting this to be a joke bourbon. I really was. And I'm very surprised.
I'm getting some toast. So that would be part of a hot brown, would be, it's got a layer of toast on the bottom. So I am getting some toast notes. Great spices. I mean, it's not overwhelmingly spicy. It's just kind of popping in your mouth. And I'm getting that toasty bread note.
I think it's spicy. It's
and you're
enjoyable.
The spice king.
Well, it's enjoyable. It's very enjoyable. I'm getting like a ginger with it.
I'm not getting ginger, but
it's good.
I'm almost getting some, it sounds weird almost with this, some cocoa notes. I'm getting some leather notes that are forming as it's sitting longer on my palate. Because with that viscosity, it's going to just start, finding its way into every crevice of your mouth and bringing out new flavor profiles as it hits another part of your tongue. Let's try it again. I'm going to take a sip for the finish.
Finish is long.
The finish is where I'm getting those leather notes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also and the finish is also where I'm getting some dark cocoa, which I have no idea what has to do with a hot brown, just saying.
I'm getting a tad bit of black pepper. It's been the last few tastes I haven't. This one is there. Mm-hmm. I'm really shocked that I'm picking up as much in this as I am.
And there's some creaminess. So as I'm trying to analyze how this might relate to a hot brown, that, Mornay sauce that goes on top, that has this heavy cream and stuff. So that feeling of that is there. The pepper that would be on top is there. The toast that's on the bottom layer absolutely is there. And I think when you think about a hot brown, and I know you probably haven't eaten as many hot browns as I have.
I think I've had one.
Is that it's like layers of complexity. So perhaps that is why when they picked this barrel, they named it the hot brown, because it absolutely has layers of complexity from the nose to the palate to the finish. Mm-hmm. I'm loving this.
Well, the hot of the hot brown is there because it's popping.
Yeah,
it's good.
But at 110 proof, I think it feels like 110 proof. I don't think it's drinking hotter than that.
No, I don't think. I think that's. I think I'd probably be guessing at that.
Yeah,
110,
I think it's
115.
Right in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really good. I'm digging this. And again, I've purchased some bottles before that are in the closet because they were such cute bottles and it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. But this is not one of those. It's going to have to go on the shelf, and we're probably going to be drinking it and looking for some others of these.
Well, I think this is one you bring to a party. That if you're a baseball pitcher, you got 2 strikes, you throw a changeup. Mm-hmm. And this is, people would not be expecting this. They would be looking for the sandwich or the dinner. You want to say that, and all of a sudden you get this, and it's a rye, and it almost feels like a really high rye.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a high rye bourbon.
Well, it shows. But
I'm curious if any of you out there, put it in the comments, have you had any of these single barrels from Krogman's that use the MGP Mashbill and have all these really fun labels? Have you had another version of Tater bait? I'd be really curious about that. I should have known it was kind of resonating with me in the store. And it wasn't until I pulled open their website and saw the bottle pictures that I realized it came back to our very first meeting at the Evansville Bourbon Society. And supposedly they do single barrel picks there, where you can come in on a Saturday and pick a single barrel to get bottled, and you can name your label and stuff.
Interesting.
So it's like, that sounds like a pretty fun time.
That'd be kind of cool. We'll have to try to go there at some point. I would buy another bottle. This is, well, I'm almost speechless with it. I am really stunned. This was
fun.
I was not expecting this to be good. I fully had in mind that I was going to be massively disappointed that we had bought a gimmick bottle. Cheers to you. We're going to have to come up and check you guys out in person. Thank you so much. And if you like this, drink responsibly and follow us. Cheers.
Cheers.